Can anyone tell me what is the fastest growing sport in the world that no one has ever heard of? Hint? It is disc golf. Hello, my name is Derek Kaufman, and today I am going to tell you about the history of disc golf, how to play the game, disc golf on the collegiate level, and the future of the sport. Stories about Frisbee games have been around since the 1930s, but in 1970, a group from Rochester, New York, was playing Frisbee golf as an organized sport. They were holding leagues, they were having tournaments, and in 1972, they held the second annual City of Rochester tournament. But wait a second, let me back up just a little bit. In 1965, Wham-O Toy Company created what we know today as the modern Frisbee. The director of that department was Ed Hedrick. Ed Hedrick is also known as the father of disc golf. That's Ed right there. Oh, sorry. That's Ed right there. In 1967, Ed created the International Frisbee Association newsletter to promote their new product. And in 1973, that group from Rochester, New York found that newsletter and contacted Wham-O about sponsoring their tournament on a national level. Ed Hedrick got involved, Wham-O sponsored the tournament, and they actually gave away that car as the grand prize. After the tournament, Ed was so sure that disc golf was going to become such a huge sport that he quit his job at Wham-O and created his own company called the PDGA, the Professional Disc Golfers Association. If Ed was the father of disc golf, then Tom Monroe was definitely the uncle. Tom Monroe was a Frisbee fanatic, and that's Tom Monroe there. And going into his senior year of college, Tom had contacted Wham-O and suggested that they give him a job when he graduated. Wham-O asked him a few questions and decided that Ed Hedrick was the man he needed to speak with, so they got him in contact with him, and that's what he did. Ed was building the world's first disc golf course in Oak Grove Park in Pasadena, California, and suggested that Tom come out and speak with him there. The interview went well, and when Tom returned back for his senior year of college, he was more inspired than ever. Upon his return, he built a disc golf course on the campus of his university. And where was the university that he went to? UNA. UNA held the second disc golf course ever in the entire world. And in June of 1976, Tom created the Southeastern Frisbee Tournament and held that tournament here. That was the first tournament ever held outside the state of California or New York. Tom went on to design courses all over the South, and Tom and Ed built Bronze Springs Park in Huntsville in 1978, and that is still sitting there today. Tom is a 20-time world champion, and he holds 3 world records. Most notably is the TRC, the throw, run, and catch. He actually took a disc, he threw it, he ran, and he caught that very disc. What's the world record? 90 yards. Now you know a little bit about the history. Let's talk about how to play the game. It's just like ball golf. You start on a tee pad and end when the disc falls into the basket instead of the ball. You throw your first shot, wherever that lands, that's where you start and throw your next shot, and you keep repeating those shots until it lands in the basket. There is a driver, there's a mid-range, and a putter. And the most important part of the game is the putter. It is the most important part of all of disc golf. How do you putt? It's just like reaching up and shaking somebody's hand. You just spin it, comes right out. Just like that. These guys right here are demonstrating the proper technique of putting. So, now everybody can play around with disc golf, correct? But are you good enough to play at the collegiate level? Not everyone can play at the collegiate level. But in 2001, Pete May discovered disc golf, and like Ed and Tom before him, was completely consumed by it. In 2004, Pete May petitioned the NCAA to recognize disc golf as a collegiate sport. According to Alan Kane, the collegiate program director at the PETA, the NCAA said no, and Pete May took matters into his own hands. He built a massive disc golf complex in Augusta, South Carolina called the Hippodrome, and in 2007 held the first National Collegiate Disc Golf Championship. There were 6 teams there. 7 short years later, the field has grown to 60 teams. Among this year's 60 teams is UNA's first disc golf team. Good looking guys right there. After qualifying for the national championship, in a quote from Alan Kane said, "It's about time the first college in the world to have a disc golf course has a team representing in the national championship. So wish us luck." So, where does the sport go from here? According to Tom Monroe, there are disc golf courses in over 40 countries. The biggest growth is in the Mayan region of Central America. Also, the Beach Sport Network will begin taping the 2014 National Championship to bring 4 30-minute segments on disc golf to their network, reaching 60 to 80 million viewers. Another quote from Alan Kane: "I see disc golf as an awesome bridge, or I see college disc golf as an awesome bridge to bring disc golf into the mainstream and the future." So now you know a little bit of the history of the disc golf, how to play disc golf on the collegiate level, and the future of the sport. So what are we waiting for? Let's go throw a round. Thank you.